And I think we're live. All right.
Yes, we are.
Good. Welcome to Codex Virilis. I want to say 3. Yeah, 3.
Yeah, this is the third one now.
Yeah, Codex Virilis 3. So for those of you who have not seen this before, what is Codex Virilis? I mean, literally the title, but also like the concept of these videos and sessions.
So Codex Virilis is basically men's book club. Codex is Latin for books, and Virilis is men's. So it's a men's book club, and that's exactly what this is. It's us men getting together, reading books about development, about different topics. It will be switching up. Which, by the way, we have no idea what the next book's going to be, but
I think we still got. How many chapters does this book have?
I'm not sure.
Um,
But after this one, we'll pick a different book, and it'll be changing constantly. So it's not always going to be about finance. Sometimes it could be about psychology. Sometimes it could be philosophy. Sometimes it could be theology. Heck, we might even get some just kind of fun books in there, maybe like 1984 or Animal Farm or
that sounds fun.
Yeah, those are phenomenal books. I was actually talking to a friend of mine the other day about I Am Legend. Have you seen the book? Or seen the book? Have you seen the movie?
With Will Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah, like years ago.
Yeah, same here. But I've read the book as well. So I was talking to her about the book and how it's different than the movie. And as we were talking about it, she's like, I don't remember any of that. I was like, honestly, I don't know if I'm talking about the book or the movie. I'm just telling you the story. But
I Am Legend, but that's like a novel type thing.
yes,
I
yeah.
really don't read novels. When was the last time I read an actual novel was like 2011, something like that. I like everything I read is finances, business, psychology, self improvement, and self help stuff like that, coaching, whatever. I I don't really read novels, but I actually didn't even know I Am Legend had a book. I
Yeah.
thought
Like most of them, the book is better than the movie. I mean, they can only do so much with movies. But regardless, I'm going to ruin it for somebody if they don't know. The cool part that I was telling her that's so like twist, right? Was the fact that the guy who was going around, he was the last guy on Earth with his dog, and he had these monsters that would come out at night and did all this other stuff, and he would kill them during the day and blah 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 blah. The fun twist at the end was that he was actually the monster. Like the world was now inhabited by these other creatures, and they had a lore or a legend of this daywalker who would go around killing you if you would go out during the day. And yeah, it just I don't know. I thought it was a super cool twist. I was like, dang, I didn't see that coming.
I have to edit in here. Spoiler alert!
Yeah.
Don't even let us know.
No. If you haven't seen it by now, it's too late. But yeah,
I think
so
they're
anyway,
gonna have it too. I Am Legend too. I think I heard the rumors, but Will Smith is like 83 now, so I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna do.
I am senile.
Can't even like see what he's shooting at. Uh, but all right, cool. Now, so we are focusing on the psychology of money. We've already gone through chapters 1 through 7, correct? And we're not going to go over that again. But in short, basically, they're like essays. They're like standalone ideas about how we think about money. It's I think some things are interesting, some things seem new, other things seem a little, I don't know, cliche, little like it's like obvious. Some things you agree with, some things you don't. You particularly, I'm sure you don't agree with half of the book because you're very disagreeable. Very disagreeable person. But so here we're going to be starting with chapter 8. We read the next 5 chapters, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we're going to fly right through these, talk a little bit about it. If anybody is interested in joining these book clubs and also giving your 2 cents and what you think and just participating and just having fun, hanging out, join what? What are we going to join?
Join the Order of Pillars. We should have a link down below. Go by all means. It is free right now, but it won't always be free. We are a men's development system, helping men get ahead in multiple areas of their lives. We actually have 7 pillars to be exact, and we are working on each one individually, but the whole premise is to solve men's loneliness, to get men to be more tuned in with other men and other men who are also on the path of improvement. So I'm sure everybody has had that situation where you know people, but they're not really too big into finance or fitness or faith or whatever have you. They're lacking in one area or another. So this is a community where you can get into, you can find like-minded people, and you can grow together.
Exactly. And improvement in every aspect of
Yes.
life. It's not just physically, but mentally, be it psychologically, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually. And yeah, just know that you are not alone. Speaking of I Am Legend, you
Yeah.
are not alone. But yeah, so let's get into it. Chapter 8 talked about the seduction of pessimism. So it began a little bit erotica here. But at the first bullet point is pessimism sounds smarter than optimism, which makes bad news spread faster. The question at hand, why do people trust pessimists more than optimists, even when pessimists are usually wrong?
I think naturally people are fearful of bad things, especially when it comes to money, right? Everybody's afraid of, oh man, I'll lose out on a little bit of money here, or I can lose all my money depending on how you have it. So if anybody is in markets, in crypto, or anything else like that, you would typically see that any kind of bad news, any headlines that come out will instantly scare the market, and people start pulling out their money. They put it into safe havens, and then you see a quick downward turn. So typically, like it says, it's the pessimists. They sound smart, right? Oh, save your money, right? Pull out now, this and that. You're going to lose 20% of your equity, whatever, whatever. But as Warren Buffett says, it's not about timing the market, but about time in the market. If you do it correctly, you should be putting some money aside and just kind of experience the roller coaster that is the markets, but have that extra money onto the side so that when things go bad, you can actually buy up assets on the low.
Excellent. That's actually a perfect segue into the second one. I wasn't planning on getting into the second one yet, but since you mentioned Warren Buffett, let's just go straight into that one. Optimism requires believing in gradual progress. Pessimism feels urgent and real. So, do you think urgency clouds your long-term vision?
Oh yeah.
In your opinion, what would be like the hardest part of having that patience and that long-term optimism?
I mean, in today's society, we're instant gratification focused. So people want to turn that $100 into $1 million overnight, which is completely mentally deficient for YouTube Thursday. but yeah, it's all about slow growth, right? Don't try to hit the ball out of the park every single time. Just get to the next base, right? Get that 5, 8, 10% win and just be happy with it, you know? It'll go up and it'll go down, but typically markets continuously go up. I'm not going to get into why, but typically it continues to go up.
Exactly. Yeah, but that would depend on a person's age as well,
Yeah.
right? Now you got, I mean, if obviously if you're 18, 20, 25, you're good. Well, assuming you don't get into like a fatal car crash or something, but you're good. But what would you say to a person who's 50, 55? They got nothing.
So, I mean, typically the way it works is as you're younger, you can take on heavier risk because even if you lose it all, there's plenty of time to gain it back. As you start aging into your 50s, your 60s, you should become a lot more fearful and conservative. Don't put into risky stocks. Have a tiny little bit of exposure into riskier home runs, as it were. But typically, your best bet is to go into more safe assets that are not going to quickly drop, and then you have to wait, another 10 years to try to just get back to par because by then you might be dead.
Yep. Yep. So you heard it, gentlemen. Safe assets, no hookers.
And just if you know where she's coming from, right?
We're protection. But all right, now history shows steady improvement despite constant crisis. You mentioned, you touched on that really briefly. And why do we forget progress so quickly?
Again, everybody is constantly forward thinking and they want the next hit, right? You just got a nice big bump of 20% returns and you're just like, "Oh man, if I can get another 20%, man, like I'll be so much further ahead." Not appreciating what you just got. Which it's again, like I said, if you're managing your money wisely, you should be having um, a healthy ebb and flow into the money that you have. So I mean, as you increase a certain amount, you pull out a little bit of profits, right? You want to lock in those profits, and then, like I said, put those aside, have it as liquid, cash, so that it can easily be put back into the market if it goes down. And Warren Buffett is actually an awesome example for this. A lot of the times he will pull out and be way over leveraged in cash, and it's typically because he suspects something is coming down the line. And then when something does happen, not if, because it always happens, right? If there's a war, if there's a government shutdown, if they're not going to be handing out EBT, whatever it is, now's a good time. As everybody is fearful, you put in that money. There's a great saying.
It's great. Oh, it's all great.
That says, when others are greedy, you should be fearful. And when others are fearful, you should be greedy.
Basically, buy low, so high.
Yeah.
And now, speaking of, out of curiosity, that has nothing to do with the topic, but today, did the food stamps actually get cut off, or did they reopen?
I have not been keeping up on it. I know that they've been talking about there is. So one side is saying there is some money there that can be allocated um, to keep EBT funded, but it's a very short term. So if they did dip into that money, it would last maybe 2 weeks. Um, I think what last I'd heard was Trump came out and basically said the Republicans should go for the nuclear option, which is to eliminate the filibuster. And if that's the case, then with their majority in the Senate, they would be able to pass the funding bill without any Democrat votes. It's a risky play, in my opinion, but I mean, whatever it takes to kind of get things going again. You run the risk of later on when the Democrats have majority, now they're able to do the same. So politics, right?
Well, yeah, but nobody's out in the streets burning anything, right? Like,
No,
not as of yet.
no, not yet, not yet.
Right.
Trying to prepare just in case, but a lot of videos. I don't know if you've seen the videos coming about people talking about like, and if I don't get my food stamps, I'm gonna go and like rob the store, and there'll be people in the freaking parking lots robbing people for their groceries. I don't know. I have my opinion, but this isn't a political talk here.
Yeah, we can put a pin in that.
All right.
But all right. So in investors who ignore pessimistic noise tend to do better. What noise are you most tempted to believe right now?
Right now, as anybody who knows me, I personally am into cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are obviously a riskier asset. Um, October was not a positive month, and this was the second or third time that October has been red. Um, so yeah, typically October is a pretty green month, and November is also a pretty green month. December is give or take, but yeah, a lot of people again are fearful because of all the nonsense happening in government with its shutdowns and Trump talking about nuclear testing again, and the ceasefire that was broken between Israel and what was it the
Hamas?
Gaza? Yeah,
Well, yeah, Hamas, really.
yeah, same.
Just a, just a
But
country.
lots of fear in the market. But um, again, just be smart, right? You should always be optimistic, not
But
so much
you,
in what the market will do, but in your ability to navigate the hard times. And I think that's the focus of this chapter as a whole. Bad times are going to happen. It's all about how you navigate it.
you've been in crypto for a little bit now, and it is riskier, much riskier play. Had you started over years ago and started investing in another area as aggressively as you did with crypto, what would you have chosen?
Um, like if I couldn't do crypto,
Yeah, it doesn't exist. Crypto
yeah,
doesn't,
right.
doesn't exist.
If I were to go back, I would sell my mama and get into Bitcoin.
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna bite my tongue.
Right? No. I mean, I would. I've always also been an investor in precious metals, but precious metals have also been a very safe, unfun asset. Um, Knowing what I know now, if I were to go back and not have the option to do crypto or something like that, then I would spread out my investments more into ETFs and bonds and probably I mean, yeah, those are pretty much your best bets right there. Your ETFs and bonds. I mean, you're pretty safe with the bond area, and your ETFs get you a nice broad exposure to a lot of the market. And looking back, I mean, I would have done really well with just a broad section of the market as well. So I mean, if anybody who looks at the market sees that, it goes up. I said I wasn't going to talk on it, but the reason is the government keeps spending money. Right? It just keeps printing money. So the smart move, and this is stuff that we teach in the order of pillars, but to be wealthy is to take the money that you work for, that you exchange your time for, and you buy assets with it. These assets will grow over time, whatever they are, right? You do real estate, you do stocks, you do crypto, whatever you wanted to do. But it's the assets themselves that will keep up with inflation and typically outpace it. Whereas people who take their time, exchange it for money, and then turn around and spend that on liabilities, they typically do very poorly.
Oh, well, yeah. So, real quick flash list of 5 examples of assets versus liabilities.
Assets, anything that grows. So, I mean, you got stocks, you've got real estate, you've got, earlier in one of the chapters, they were talking about paintings. So, I mean, you got paintings, you've got precious metals. The biggest asset I think people overlook is themselves and the skills that you can acquire, especially in this day and age with computers. So you can always go out and learn, I don't know, computer graphics. You can learn how to code, you can learn marketing, you can learn just so many different things. So uh, assets are that one. Liabilities are anything that basically is not going to grow with you. So I mean, if you go out and you buy I don't know, a nice pair of Jordans, that's a liability. If you go out and you're buying frigging a new cell phone every year, that's a liability. If you're going out and getting in debt for a car, that car is going to depreciate in value. That's a liability. So, yeah.
There you go. So, for the financially illiterate out there, quick mini lesson of assets and liabilities. Always try to acquire assets, avoid liabilities.
Yep.
Okay. Now, that was chapter 8. Let's jump into chapter 9. Wealth is what you don't see. So it kind of ties back to what you just said. I don't know. You're seeing the future here because you always mention something that ties into the following point.
Read the book.
So wealth is what you don't see. Real wealth is the money you don't spend. How often do you equate visible success with actual wealth? And I don't know. I think most people do this. Like they say, I'm wealthy or I'm rich or I'm well off or I'm stable based on what they can see. That I have a nice car, I have a nice house, I live in this area, I have nice clothes. They base their wealth and stability off of that.
So how often do you equate visible success with actual wealth? Like me personally, or are you saying like my
I mean,
view
you
on
personally,
life?
like, when you look around your life, do you say, "Oh, I'm well off," based on what you see, or based on what you don't see?
I mean, I'm always looking in the mirror going, "You're poor, you're poor." No, I mean it's so this book is obviously all about money, but I have a broader definition of wealth. I think we should all have a broader definition of wealth. Money is just one of many. So I mean, you should be grateful if you have good health. You're a wealthy person. If you have a family that loves you, you're a wealthy person. If you have a job, even a job that you're not super fond about, but it pays your bills, you're fairly wealthy. Um, if you've got faith, if you believe in God and all this, you are far wealthier than somebody who just has a lot of money in the bank. So I think, like I said, I have a broader definition of wealth. Now, financial wealth, I also don't attribute that to visuals. So, I mean, if I wanted to, yeah, I could go out and buy a Rolex and I could buy a nicer car and I could do all this, but those are liabilities. That does nothing to move my needle. No diddy. Uh,
That is incredibly. You know what the next word is.
um, I think going back to the assets and liabilities thing, a lot of people they get fixated on visual things, right? They want to look rich, but they don't have much money. Versus the proper mindset to have is just don't go around in tattered clothing and look like a hobo, but like you don't need the nicest clothes, you don't need the nicest shoes, you don't need the latest car. Like, bro, if you've got a car that has 100,000 miles but it's running fine and it's got a few dents and faded paint, but it takes you from point A to point B, again, how you view it, right? You're far wealthier than somebody who has no car.
He's talking about me, by the way.
All right.
I'm like in the
So
Flintstones car right now.
good leg exercise. But yeah, I view wealth and success in a long term manner. So I mean, I'm not thinking of anything in the next 5 to 10 years. My time frame out is in the next 30, 40 years. Um, that's
That's
where.
typically a mindset that you kind of acquire at a certain age. What would you say to the typical 18-year-old, 20-year-old who doesn't think like that because they're 20? So none of us well, hardly any of us have that mindset. We only acquire that more responsible mindset of being rich rather than looking rich at a certain age after we mature a little bit, go through life experiences. Is there any silver bullet phrase, sentence, or piece of advice that you think would penetrate that 20-year-old mind?
So, seeing as how we are a men's book club, I would recommend reading two books in particular. They're not very long books, not very complex books, but it's good to help you have a reperspective on money and how it's used and functions. But um, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and the other one is, oh man, I drew a blank. The wealthiest man in Babylon. Those two. If you haven't read those, highly, highly advise it. Basically, Rich Dad Poor Dad gives a very good breakdown on how poor people use their, and I use poor in a non-derogatory term.
Everybody watching this is poor.
But how poor people use and view money versus how rich people use and view money. And then the other book, The Richest Man in Babylon, is a story on how this man went from having nothing to being, well, the wealthiest man in Babylon, and how he chose to use his money to make more money. So any young person out there, again, if you haven't joined the Order of Pillars, go join the Order of Pillars. Like, comment. If the link isn't there, I blame this guy or this guy. I don't know where he's at. But just comment below. We will send you a link. We will personally invite you, and yeah, you can start being around other people who have a more long-term mindset. But just know that at the end of the day, what was it? I forget the quote exactly how it was in Fight Club when he said, "We all buy things," and I'm paraphrasing, but we all buy things to impress people that we don't even like. So it's like,
Oh yeah, exactly. It's true. Now, of course, the question here is: would you rather look rich or be rich? And obviously, at this point, we would say, "Oh, I'd rather be rich." Obviously,
yeah.
but honestly speaking, if you were rich, I'm talking like hundreds of millions, borderline billions of dollars rich. And if you actually were at that status, do you honestly think you would stay exactly the same you are now, or you'd be like buying different watches and like the
Yeah, no.
sports cars and like flaunting, I don't know,
Yeah, I
whatever
mean,
golden eyeglass?
uh, it's a fun thought experiment. Um, but no, I mean, if one were to ever get to that point, hundreds of millions of dollars, um, odds are you should have, hopefully, besides you winning the lottery and it's just like a complete freak accident that you got this money. Um, odds are you already have the right mindset, and that's why you've built up to that far. But um, just put a set percentage aside into the stocks and a few other little things, and then bro, live your life, right? Like, yo, I would all day be having some nice watches, a couple friggin' not sports cars. That's not something that really appeals to me. Um, I would definitely have some antique cars, but I would have I would definitely be flaunting. Let's put it like that.
Yes, there
Not
will
going
be
to tell
signs.
you I'm rich, but there'll be signs, you know.
There'll be signs. Okay. Like he's probably stopped talking to me. You know, his
Oh
brother.
yeah, that's I'm poor and I want to stop doing that.
So spending to impress others destroys the wealth you're trying to show, which is what we just mentioned. Who are you subconsciously trying to impress with your spending? Let's take 10 seconds of silence for the one watching this video. This question is to you. Who are you subconsciously trying to impress with your spending when you buy those expensive shoes, the expensive clothes? Who do you think you're trying to impress? What do you think, B? Those people? What do you think those people are? Who do you think those people are trying to impress?
I mean, I think typically they're trying to impress women, right? At the end of the day, this is a men's group, but um, I mean, yeah, the majority of what we do is trying to impress the other gender, right? It's trying to
That
say,
depresses me so much.
yeah,
The women are going to be the downfall of mankind.
that's true.
They make us do the stupidest things. So, side note, gentlemen, stay away from women until
Right?
you make it.
Yeah,
Once you make it, you can have any woman you want. But
yeah,
till then, stay away because they're no good for you.
yeah. I mean,
I
that's
hope my
fact.
wife's not listening to this.
Or sin.
Throws
uh,
the baby at me.
yeah. No, I mean, I do think that typically men try to dress like they're wealthier, get that nicer car, get that nicer watch. They try to go out and eat and try to do all these certain things when they're not there yet because they're trying to show a certain level of opulence to women. Um, the funny part is when you do that, you attract the absolute worst type of women. so
Yep.
those gold diggers, the ones that you go out and you saved up, right? You sacrificed everything and you bought that nice Rolex and you're super like proud about it and you're flaunting it off to a girl. Um, she's gonna automatically think like, oh, this guy's got money, so like,
Oh
he's
yeah.
gonna take me out to eat. He's gonna buy me some nice things, and this thing, she's completely wiped you out of any kind of money that you've had left, and then she leaves you for somebody who has more money or is also trying to play that game. So
Not to mention it's 2025, so there are no gold diggers. There are gold excavators. Everything's about money, money, money.
No.
Right? So yeah, so that's why stay away from women and don't flaunt anything, even if you do have money, because you'll attract the person who's actually interested in you and not your money. You're going around with like diamond watches, even if you have the money, but you're going around flaunting yourself and stuff. What type of people are you going to attract? How do you know if that friend you made is actually your friend, or that woman you talk to actually likes you, or the people around you who engage with you actually like you as a person, or is it your money? So even if you do make those bucks, stay humble. Stay humble for your own good. Now, independence comes from restraint, not performance. How could you apply restraint as a strength, not a sacrifice? I personally actually like that concept because we think about investments. You have to be patient. It takes time, consistency. You need strength and you need restraint from actually spending that money. And the go-to idea is that I'm sacrificing so much by taking this percent and putting it. Is there any way to kind of flip that and think it's not a sacrifice, it's a strength? I'm strong for doing this because most people can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say think about not I'm sacrificing going out and having a good time or getting a nice watch or a car or whatever have you, but that you're investing in yourself. Like we said earlier, right? Assets and liabilities. You are the top asset. So everything that you're doing, you don't go out to drink, you don't spend money needlessly on certain things, and then instead you take that money and you put it into self-development courses. If this is a paid community, by the time you're watching this, you go and you sign up for Order of
You're
Village.
late now.
Yeah, right. You should have gotten in soon. But you invest in yourself, right? That's not a sacrifice. You would never think of it like, oh, I'm sacrificing, buying some more Bitcoin or some more stocks that I know in 5 years are going to be worth 3 times as much as they are now. It's not a sacrifice. That's an investment. Like, that's a huge strength. It's a huge strength for the future you, not the present you.
Exactly. So it's restraint. Is you have to flex restraint. And this is about finances, but I just keep going back to like women. Restraint. Restraint. When a woman comes up to you, talks to you, and shows interest in you, be a man and kick her to the curb. Get rid of her. Like, show restraint. So you don't have any power over me, and that's restraint. That's strength because you come first.
Yeah, I mean, I always liked the idea of I don't remember where I heard it, but I heard somebody say to men that you are the prize, not her. Right?
That's the top G right there.
Is that Top G?
I mean, I don't know if anybody else said it, but I heard Top G say that.
Okay, well, shout out to Andrew Tate. If you want to come on the podcast sometime, sponsor us. I'll accept all that. Fly us out to where is he? Romania or somewhere?
He's in he's in Romania. He lives in Romania.
Fly us out. We can box. I'm sure you totally whoop us, but I mean, whatever.
Completely destroy us.
At the same story, I got beat up by Top G.
But yeah, so restraint, man. Restraint. Yeah, you are the prize. Stay away from those women. And this ties back to, money, finances, and wealth. I'm not getting too far off topic. We're talking about finances. But at least from personal experience, it's like a personal vendetta. Yeah, stay away from women. They will destroy you. But good. Let's get into the 10th chapter here real quick. Saving money, an important one. Saving gives flexibility and control over your life. What would change if you had 6 months of saving right now? Now, of course, this sounds great when you're making 10K a month, 8K a month, 7K a month, whatever. What would you say for the people who are watching this and they're working at McDonald's and they're like, I got no money? what would you say to them?
Step one, get a different job. The hell's wrong with you?
Very sensitive. Empathy is what we pride ourselves on here.
Our previous topic was about faith and religion. That's just out the window. But no, I mean, that's a big picture, right? It's a big goal to have 6 months worth of living expenses. And if you actually sit down and do the math, which again, in the order of pillars, this is one of the goals that we help you drive towards, which is having 6 months worth of living expenses. But that's not going to be an all at once type deal, right? Start with $100. If you can put aside, $100 out of your paycheck, you put that aside, bro, you're $100 closer to that goal. You keep doing that over time, now you have maybe $3,000, $4,000. That in itself, you are financially better than so many people out there. And I wish I would have the articles and stuff up for it, but there is a certain percentage, and I want to say it was something like 40 or 50% of Americans don't have, even like 2 months worth of living expenses in the event of something happening. Like they're living paycheck to paycheck.
You gotta stop attacking me.
That includes people making, 6 figures. There's a lot of people out there making 6 figures a year, and everybody thinks, oh man, 6 figures. If I made that much, like I would be set. Not the case, right? Your income grows, and then your expenses grow right along with it. So wherever you're at, start with where you're at. You can put $10 aside, $100 aside. Break it down into smaller, more achievable goals, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So instead of looking at 6 months worth of living expenses, go, okay, that's a big picture. Then we go for just 1 month's worth of living expenses. Maybe that's even too big for you. Go to your expenses, right? Your utilities, right? If your phone bill is, I don't know, $100 a month, and you put aside $200 a month, you are 2 months ahead on that bill. Do the same thing for all your other bills. And then you'll watch how it slowly builds up into the fact that, yeah, now you've got, a couple months worth of living expenses. Then you get 3 months. Then your big one is 6 months. It's funny because it does two things. One, it gives you a certain peace of mind to know that you have a certain amount of money so that when something bad happens, you get a flat tire, your car breaks down, you lose your job, something comes up. It's not a matter of if, but when, then you have enough to keep you afloat so that you're not freaking out and getting into debt. The other aspect is you gain a certain amount of confidence and respect for yourself to know, look, I'm not a slave for this job. You're working at McDonald's and you save up 3 months worth of living expenses, and your boss comes at you and starts being disrespectful or whatever else. You ever seen the movie How High? Oh no, Half Baked. Sorry, Half Baked.
Oh, Half Baked. Yeah.
Where he takes the mic and goes, F you, you're cool, I'm out.
Well, not to mention saving, I mean, it's more investment, not really savings. But even if you, instead of saving that $100, supposing you're working at McDonald's cleaning toilets, even instead of saving that $100 temporarily, just use those $100 to invest in yourself in some type of education, so that in 6 months or in 1 year or whenever, you're not working there cleaning toilets anymore. You're working in a better place, making more money, and then you can definitely save $100.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, you gotta be responsible, but it's never gonna happen if all you do is look at women all day. I don't know. Something's telling me that somebody out there is watching this and they're resonating. Stay away from those women. But all right, savings rate matter more than income. Why do most people chase higher income instead of higher savings? Which kind of goes back to what I just said. Like, you have to make money to save more, obviously. I mean, I think anybody can save something no matter what income they're at. But obviously the more income you have, the more potentially you could save. I say potentially because if you don't keep your same lifestyle but make more money, you're never going to save any money at all. But supposing you stay at the same lifestyle and you find a better job, you make more income, naturally you should be able to save more, right? So what would be priority for you? Just focusing all in on savings or trying to level up your income?
Um, I I would actually say savings is your first priority, assuming you're not just swimming in debt. If you've got a ridiculous amount of debt, so a good mentality to have is if you have a certain debt, let's say a credit card at 20% interest rate, and you're paying that off and you have a large sum there, as you're paying that off, that's a guaranteed 20% return that you're using and getting for that money. But assuming you have no debt, which congrats if you don't, then again, I would say savings is probably your best bet. Savings will give you a certain amount, like I said, of a mentality to give you comfort, and basically to keep you from debt. Like I said, it's not a matter of when, it's a matter of if. Cars break down, emergencies happen, just something will always come up. And unfortunately, if people don't have any emergency money saved up, then they have to quickly figure out how to try to make money so that they can just keep existing. And typically, the easiest is credit cards. So they get in credit card debt. Credit card debt has a ridiculously high
I thought you were
interest
going to
rate.
say prostitution, but
I mean, you saw the comment in the community, right? That's my go-to if I would ever
because that's the easiest thing to do as well. First thought, prostitution. OnlyFans, jiggle, jiggle.
I don't know if anybody would pay me for that.
Probably
Could probably get a good
OnlyFans money.
business. I could have a good business just doing the reverse, being naked, and if you pay me money, I put on one piece of article of clothing every
Gotta
time.
make some money there.
But no, I mean it's a safety thing, right? So I would say savings first. Then you can start working on your income. To use that person who's working at McDonald's, nothing against you, but
You
if
suck.
you if you can save up 3 months worth of living expenses, now you have time to take a few days off, right? Go and start looking for a job. Take one of those days off for job interviews. You can spend a little bit of that saving money, like you said, to invest in yourself, learn new skills, do something else so that you can take that leap, that risk to get a higher paying job.
Some type of
If
like trade. How much does it like studying a trade cost? I don't think that's too expensive.
Depends on the trade, but even the trades, I mean, you can do financing for them. You can do what is it like? Basically, like a student loan ish type deal. You borrow money basically so that you can do the trade. But some of the trades, that's actually a very good point, right? If you have 6 months worth of living expenses saved up, and you go and maybe you don't get a job that pays you, right? It's an apprenticeship, and for 3 months they're paying you minimum wage or something. If you have money saved up, you can take that leap, that risk into that, and then know at the end of it, if you really work hard and learn that trade very well, you're going to be making $30 an hour or whatever it is. So, yeah, like I said, I would go saving first, then income.
All right. Now, realistically, is it advisable or realistic to do both at the same time?
I think,
Save while you're looking to level up your income?
yeah, I mean, well, not to keep attacking that McDonald's worker, but bro, you could get a job anywhere else. What are you doing?
He's probably like
there's
crying right now at the computer.
there's tons of other jobs. If you're willing to put in the work, bro, you can go and work in construction. You're gonna be tired, but they're looking, especially because they're deporting all their workers right now. So,
And it's good for your health. You
yeah.
get some exercise in. Uh, it's actually, I mean, it is exhausting, but it's actually quite fun. I
Oh,
worked
I've
in
done
construction for a little bit,
it. Yeah.
way back in the day, couple decades ago, and it's hard, but it is really it's fun and gratifying. Like
It
when
is.
you see the the end result of hard work and like, oh, I did that, like or I helped do that, and it's fun and you learn. And I would have definitely like stayed in that, but yeah, these hands were made for computers, not for hammers. So, but all right,
It's like,
now frugality beats chasing high returns. How do you define enough? So, previously we mentioned staying at your same living standards as you are now. Just because you start making three times more money doesn't necessarily mean you have to start driving more expensive cars, live in bigger, more expensive houses and more expensive neighborhoods, wearing more expensive clothes. No, you can stay where you are now and make more money, and all that money is extra. But how do you define what enough is? How, is there such thing as enough?
Yeah, I mean that's a very subjective thing. Um, each person has their own idea of enough, and funny enough, this is one of the things that in the book uh, really got me kind of pondering on what is enough, right? Like, obviously, I have my idea of if I hit a certain number, I make more, cool, but like, bro, I'm set. Um, but
Of savings or of income?
invested, so yeah, savings, I suppose.
Okay.
Income wise, it's very easy, and like I said before, there's you'd be shocked at how many six-figure income people are out there living paycheck to paycheck. Um, I'm if you don't know somebody, then I don't know what to tell you. But there's a lot of people out there who are making very good money, and as soon as they get that really high-paying job, the first thing they do is go out and get a new car, right? Upgrade their wardrobe. They get a bigger house because now they feel they can pay for it. They buy another car for their wife, even though their wife's car was perfectly fine. They have a certain mentality of, oh, it's fine, I can make more of it, instead of being content with where you are. I mean, if again, the idea of wealth, right? If you are healthy, if you've got a roof over your head, you got running water, you've got food, you've got a decent car, you're set, man. You don't need to have all these phenomenal things. Like, who are you trying to impress? Um, Stick with the car that you have, right? Your car is 12 years old, but it's still running fine. You just got, I don't know, like a new friggin' transmission in the car. You spent 2 grand on that or however much it is. Um, why turn it in? Like, your car's working just fine. I actually just recently got a newer vehicle, and we were joking about this. If it wasn't for my car's catalytic converter being out and it pumping in poisonous gas into the car, and that I have kids, I would drive the car with the windows down. Like, screw
Like a straw out the window.
it. Like, I'm not worried about that. I mean, the car was running fine. It was that time. I needed a slightly larger vehicle. I have a new child. Um, so it was one of those things. But um, I have enough money to know that if push comes to shove tomorrow, I can pay the car off outright. It's not gonna kill me. If like the place that I'm staying in now, I could have very well bought or rented, because I'm renting, um, a much nicer house in a much nicer area. But why? It's just fine. a few gunshots every now and then. It's fine. Keeps you on your
Yeah.
toes.
Yeah, well, you're still alive, so that's good.
There you go. For now.
Now, what kind of freedom are you really trying to buy? So save for freedom, not just for gold. So not just saving for that car, not just saving for that item that you want, but for freedom. What would be that freedom for you?
Freedom is another thing that I view differently than others. Obviously, this is specifically towards the book and it's talking about money. So, with that type of freedom in particular, um, freedom would be that I have enough money coming in that I can pay all of my expenses comfortably while still having a solid amount that I can put into investing, and I can have, some of my guilty pleasures. If you get some Zins. I go out and buy a friggin' pack of Zins if I want to, and it's not like, oh man, do I pay for the Zins or do I pay rent this month? It's kind of a difference. Now, on a deeper level, again, I think that we are all meant to continue to labor. Um, you've mentioned this before, right? It's one of those things that's kind of your job. Your job is to continue to work. And historically speaking, people have worked until the day they died. So this
Yeah.
idea of retirement and all that, that's a newer idea. And
And even
as
people who have retired, who have retirements, I was reading something about that there's a good percent, it's not the majority, but a good percentage of retirees who actually go back to work just because they're bored.
oh yeah,
There is like something innate in us that we need to be productive. We need to work. We need to do something. You
yeah. Funny enough, I have a friend of mine, very wealthy guy. He retired and he traveled on cruises, went to freaking all kinds of different places with his wife for a solid bit. Um, if you're watching this, shout out to you. You know who I'm talking about. Love the guy, super cool guy. But after a little while of doing that, just kind of enjoying his life, doing whatever else, he went and got a part-time job. Not because he needed it, but just he wanted to work. He wants to feel useful again. Um, and that's something that if you don't know, most people when they retire, not too long after they retire, they typically die because they have no more purpose in life. Imagine 60 years of your life working, always doing something, doing tasks, accomplishing things, working with people, building stuff, and then you retire and you're sitting around and it sounds great, right? You're out at the beach, you're drinking Mai Tais, you're having a nice cigar. You can only do that for so long before you go, this is fucking boring, bro. I need to do something.
Exactly. Yeah, because you're useless to society, to humanity.
Yeah.
You're just like a bag of meat,
Yeah.
just getting a suntan. So it's but now jumping, kind of moseying on along here. Chapter 11.
Hormoseying on the lawn.
Mosey, Alex. Chapter 11. Reasonable trumps rational. Reasonable behavior matters more than perfect logic. So, where have you let being right get in the way of being wise?
um, Me personally, I've had times when my investments, I should have taken money out of the markets. I should have locked in my profits, at least a percentage of the profits. Um, but logically, I know, like I said, it's just going to continue to go up over time. So I let it ride, right? All on black, screw it. Um, Looking
White,
back, though,
not black. Go red.
go red.
don't ban us, YouTube.
uh, but looking back, the rational thing to do would be just take the take a little bit of profits off the top, right? Enjoy the gains that you've made, um, even if logically you know, like, oh, it'll go down, it'll go up, but it'll continue to be higher in the future. So being smart about stuff doesn't mean you have to be right all the time, but like it says, I mean, reasonable behavior is lock in some of your profits, then you know continue to your journey later.
All right, now I'm gonna kind of jump over to a further on question here. What part of your financial plan ignores reality? So, yeah, I want to be a millionaire, but how realistic are you being? It's good to think big, good to have big dreams and goals, but where do you draw that line from reality and ambition?
I mean, having big goals, I think, are important, but I mean, I would imagine just like I was talking about the savings, right? The 6 month stuff. That's your big goal, but if you can lock in your smaller goals first, then you may not, but even if you don't get the big goal, you've accomplished so many smaller goals that you're much further ahead. And you can plan to be a millionaire and try to do all these certain things, but I mean, even if you plan out everything perfectly but never execute, then the hell's the worth of any of it?
All right. Now, this happens to me. I don't know if you've ever gone through it, but have you ever stopped for a minute and felt like you're wasting your life because you're so fixated on the next step, the next milestone, the next goal, and you're so fixated on that you just lose track of what you already have around you?
Yeah, yeah, that happens a lot. Um, I think if you're the kind of person who would join the Order of Pillars, you probably already have something like that, where you're constantly striving for better and you never take the time to sit and appreciate where you're at. And you probably have the same situation, but I sometimes like to sit and think about if, let's say, 11-year-old me saw me today, they'd be like, man, like you're doing awesome, man. Like I made it, right? You're doing really well. Cool. Um, but we always lose sight of that because as soon as you get it, you're looking upwards. And in one of the previous chapters, they touch on this as well. Right? There's always going to be somebody who is making more money than you, who's doing better than you. Um, and if you're constantly comparing yourself with people above you, you're never going to be happy. So, even if you're working at McDonald's, one, take pride in your job. Take pride in that you're getting up every single day. It's not something that is just like it doesn't matter. You're handing out food to people who have struggled, right? Have a hard day. They just want to have a good burger. Um, if you want to have a good burger, don't go to McDonald's. But
I
uh,
was just about to say something like that, but
but I mean, take pride in what you do and know that I have a saying that I stole from Dave Ramsey, which is, I'm doing better than I deserve. And I say that all the time simply because it helps me refocus on like I'm doing really well and things could be much, much worse. And yeah, I'm a stupid sinner who makes all kinds of bad things, and I probably don't even deserve as much as I have. So
yeah, that's Completely true. Now, I'm going to skip this last question here because it's getting late, people, and we can't be here for 3 hours. And I don't even think anybody's watching anymore. So let's go to chapter 12. All right. So, chapter 12, surprise. History turns on unpredictable events. So, why do we still act like the future will behave predictably? Now, that question, that bullet point, that statement would kind of tell a person to, well, we don't know what's going to happen, so just go crazy, have fun today, spend all your money. Is that what you read into it, or do you read something else into that?
I think so. I read that portion, and it's more along the lines of this is the way I interpreted it, right? So, like in this chapter, he talks about how you can't predict the future, but you can prepare for it. Right? And this goes back to saving 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to build a life that survives surprises instead of pretending you can see them coming. So, like, nobody saw the Great Depression coming. Nobody saw the world wars that were coming about. Nobody saw 9/11. Well, again, unless you were looking out the window of one of the towers. Too soon. Nobody saw COVID, right? So these are all surprises that are going to happen, and in the future, there's going to be much more. But again, it's being prepared for the bad times and being able to act accordingly during the bad times. Like I said, when people are fearful, when everybody's freaking out and pulling out of the market, and you've been looking at this company that you've been investing in for a few years now, and say the stock is at $120, some major event happens, and that $120 stock goes down to like $50, bro, buy. You have money for it, buy it up. Once everything settles down, markets will bounce back and you've made great returns. So
Good, exactly. Yeah, so it's yeah. And the other questions here, we already kind of touched base on it a little bit, which is savings and investments for unpredictable events and leveling up and whatnot. So I kind of just want to go to the last question here, which is, do you cling to control or can you adapt when plans collapse? All right. So when things don't go your way, unpredictability, and let's say, for example, for X, Y, or Z reason, tomorrow crypto goes back down to zero, like every single coin, just down to zero. Um, nice. This is how we encourage you, younglings out there. But, but would you? How do you think you would react in that scenario, that catastrophic scenario?
before or after I've been crying in the tub for a few hours? No, I mean, I think it's again, this kind of gets back to talking about how you see wealth. Um, Money is fine. It's good. It enhances what you already are. So if you don't have money and you're a good person and you're generous and all this kind of stuff, you get money and hopefully it just expands that version of you. So, I mean, heaven forbid the crypto markets just all go to zero tomorrow. Friggin' Satoshi Nakamoto comes back and, sells all of his coins, whatever it is. It would be horrible, but I've also learned a ton of things along the way. So it's one of those things like, dust yourself off and do it again. right? Find another avenue, right? Create another company, start investing, right? Continue to live below your means and start investing in other areas. Um, and yeah, you learn more from your failures than you do your successes.
Exactly. And it's important to how you see it. I think Alex Hormozy says that, like, if you can, I'm butchering his saying here, but if you can view it as the goal is to play the game, it's not to win the game, it's to play the game. And that would be part of the game. The stock markets crash, Bitcoin goes to zero, the bank takes back the house, they repo your car, whatever it may be. It sucks. We all have these moments in life where everything we planned for and what we expected just goes down the toilet. But that's part of the game. That's part of the game. And you say, all right, well, my goal was not to acquire this. My goal is what I'm doing now. I'm playing the game. What we touched on in, I think it was the roundtable last time, maybe. I'm throwing the dice. I'm playing. I'm doing it. I lose sometimes, but I learn. I get back up. I make some more money here. I lose it again. Everybody criticizes Trump because he's like had like 6 bankruptcies, whatever. But that man is playing the game, and he's been president twice. You can criticize him all he wants, all you want, but he's playing the game. And at the end of the day, at the end of his life, could very well be any time now. Is like the man's like 90, so it's like, but
A lot of people that hate him too. So.
Also, well, I don't think they can't kill him. They've tried. They can't kill him. But you can't escape nature. So, but at the end of it all, he's played the game. He's lost. He's gone to court. I'm sure he's lost money. He's gone bankrupt. He's got back up. He's lost elections. He got back in. I mean, that's part of life. That's part of the game. Enjoy the game. Play the game. Learn from it. Do better. But I would say, focusing on what Hormozy says, don't fixate so much on that house, that car, that set amount, that number that you're trying to reach. Just enjoy the process and play, which is probably the most important thing. I think we can wrap up with this one. No matter what happens, just play the game. Just play, and the only way you actually lose is if you don't play. So just play the game. I don't know if you wanted to add anything to wrap up, Lil B.
No, that was very well said. That's a great ending point there.
All right, well, as you guys can tell, if you've made it this far, congratulations. Where's the confetti? Give them some confetti, some thumbs up. Woo, you made it this far. Awesome. Great. And so you've heard us yapping forever. Join the Order of Pillars. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, hit like, hit the notification bell so you get the upcoming videos. Follow us, and if you want to join into these calls and talk nonsense like we do, you're more than welcome. Anybody can join. You don't see anybody else but us here, but because everybody's got work and family and stuff. But once in a while they'll join in and they'll participate, and anybody can. So join the Order of Pillars. You'll find the link somewhere, and we're gonna wrap it up here because we got lives and we're tired.
Yeah,
so, all right, so we're gonna let you go. This is my little B. I'm Nick, and we'll see you in the next Codex Virilis. Peace.